We're back with another edition of Fridays in the Field back in southeast Nebraska. You'll remember we're following Andrew Neujahr near Waverly, Nebraska. He's back in his family farming operation as a full-time producer. He says although there have been a few challenges in the 2018 growing season, these crops, they're looking pretty good.
Rain, as far as that goes, is pretty good for this area. Stuff's looking really well, looking really green. Not really many complaints here. We've ran our irrigation a little bit. We have been able to shut it off with each rain that's come through, so that's been really nice for us. We've got pivots, which are usually pretty nice, and then pipe irrigation, which takes a little bit more effort and a little bit more day-to-day maintenance. A little less productive, but it works.
According to the latest USDA crop progress report, nationally, corn silking development was 19 percentage points ahead of the 5-year pace. Soybean development also continued to run well ahead of normal, with USDA estimating 78% of the crop blooming as of Sunday. That is 15 percentage points ahead of the 5-year pace. The well ahead of normal trend is something Andrew is seeing out in his fields as well.
Yeah, I would say so. I think for soybeans, we're a good 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Those normal mid-August rains we could use right about now. Then with corn, corn's doing just what corn does. It did really well in the middle of the part of the summer, and now it's kind of slowed down a little bit, which that's doing all right.
Andrew noted that with some timely rains early in the growing season, even the less productive ground is producing a healthy crop.
I'm impressed by our stuff that isn't supposed to do as well, our lower productive ground. That's looking just as good as everything else has. So,
but some diseases have made their way into the crops.
In just about every field we've seen gray leaf spot. We sprayed between half and 2/3 of our acres with the plane. We did that to suppress the disease and then to make sure that the crop is standing when we get there with the combine. Most of the disease looks like it stopped in place. We weren't expecting like a total plant makeover, go straight back to green, but stopping it for now is looking good, and wait maybe another 2 weeks and then the disease will start working its way up the plant, and hopefully by that time we'll be into the later stages in corn and we won't need to respray.
I asked Andrew if the weeds have been resistant and or persistent this growing season.
Resistance, no, but persistence, yes. When we came through in our post-spraying, for soybeans especially, looked like we got most weeds, and now when we're coming back through rescatting fields for soybean diseases, we've seen some volunteer corn kind of re-emerge that wasn't emerged the first time. A few weeds that came out of their spray that they had. Fields are looking mostly clean. Nothing's perfect, unfortunately, but.
Furthermore, I was curious what Andrew has learned the most this year.
Man, I'd say the biggest thing, focusing on irrigation, just to keep working the same plan that we've worked even then when it does rain. So you get a passive irrigation through something, you get a water on the whole thing, it kind of resets the field. Well, in some cases, at least in one particular field that I have, it doesn't. Just sticking to the plan and keeping on top of everything, making sure I get stuff looked at least once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. So,
as the month of August nears, Andrew says he's keeping an eye on both the corn and soybeans.
I would say soybeans, as they go, right now we've got pods on the lower 6 inches of the plant. The next 2 to 3 feet are coming up really quickly, so keeping an eye on that. Corn looks like it's doing pretty good. We're kind of waiting for dry down and dent and making sure it doesn't abort any kernels and getting that kernel depth, especially on our irrigated fields. So.
Next time we catch up with Andrew, it will be either at or very near the harvest season. Be sure to keep up with all of our Fridays in the Field segments by going to ruralradio.com. I'm Bryce Doeschot reporting.